Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video, doing JMA Friday for today's first video. So as was on Friday, we've got the Mutt Pedal look ahead coming up with Japanese and CFS V2 models. We'll see what they're showing going in towards the middle of March, and that's going to be quite an interesting watch, I think. So second video update later on this afternoon will be regular week to 10-day video, and of course that's going to have all of the usual features, and within that we will have all the latest on Storm Dennis as well. But starting us off for this Friday is JMA Friday. So you're going to have a look at the 500 millibar high quality flow charts from the North Pole and Arctic view down, first of all. So of course this is the North Pole of the Arctic just here. The wider Arctic is around there. Well, not quite down there, but it's sort of in that area. Let's get rid of that and do that again. So this is the North Pole just here, and the wider Arctic is going to be around there, sort of thing. And they've got mid-latitudes through there. So players are extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure in yellow, orange and red. Extrapolate to above average heights, which is high pressure. The coming week we'll have a low place to break down into week periods by way. First week period takes us from the 14th to 21st of February. So week 1 has below average heights to the north and above average heights to the south. It's been the pattern of the winter. We've had this all winter, right way from the beginning, all the way through to right going towards the end of winter. And yes, we keep westerlies going. The tight lines coming across the Atlantic into Europe indicating strong jet stream. And so overall we remain very unsettled, quite stormy even as well, with low pressure being thrown up across the country, and that encompasses Storm Dennis as well, coming up tomorrow, of course. Week 2 takes us from the 21st, 28th of February, and low pressure remains where it has been all winter to the north. High pressure remains where it has been all winter to our south. We keep these westerly winds going across the Atlantic into Europe. The weather remains mild. It's unsettled. There's bouts of rain coming in from off the Atlantic, and no doubt strong winds too. Could be a little bit drier down in the south, as it looks like British strengthening a little bit to our south, but in the north, probably still very unsettled. And then weeks 3 and 4, taking us from the 28th of February to the 13th of March, shows below average heights out to the west and the northwest, above average heights sitting over and just a little bit to our east. Looks drier, looks like pushing the low pressure of a jet stream away from us to some degree, out to the north and the west. High pressure developing to our south-southeast. And I think weather's probably turning drier here, and no doubt very mild and spring-like actually. The wind could well be coming up from a southerly south-east direction. Might be a bit on the cold side at night. There might be some chilly nights in with that, but by day I suspect feeling really quite pleasant and spring-like, and finally starting to dry out a little bit across many parts of the country, I would have thought. Let's confirm that with the tropical and mid-latitude view. So in this view, the British Isles in the top right-hand corner of the chart, as you're looking at, we can't see the Arctic and Scandinavia, that sort of area. That's off the chart up here. But we know what's going on in that sort of area because we've just been looking at it a few seconds ago. So week 1, 500 millibar high normally has the above average heights coming across the Atlantic into many southern and sort of central parts of Europe. Below average heights out to the northwest. You've got the strong jet stream coming across the Atlantic. So it looks very westerly and also potentially very unsettled too. Precipitation anomalies for week 1, 14th, 21st of February are significantly wetter than average. Going to be a wet old week coming up, but it is going to be mild, and temperature anomalies are significantly milder than average. In week 2, very similar pattern. The only difference is that the ridge is strengthening a little bit to our south, so some higher pressure is going to get a little bit closer to the southern parts of the country. Low pressure is still out to the north and the west. Jet stream still coming in off the Atlantic. Temperature anomalies are still mild on average, not quite as mild in week 2 as they are in week 1, but nevertheless they're still above average. Precipitation anomalies overall still a little bit on the wetter than average side actually, but it's not as wet as it is in week 1, so probably beginning to dry out. Notice central parts of Europe are going drier, and just to our southwest as well, so beginning to dry out a little bit that last week of February, but probably still a bit on the unsettled side, particularly in the north and west. And then weeks 3 and 4 takes us from the 28th of February to the 13th of March, with above average heights then over and just to the east of the country. Below average heights out to the northwest. Jet stream is pushed northwards too. So the temperature anomaly is above average through these first 2 weeks of March. A mild and average week coming up, 1 to 2 degrees above average. No change really on past few months. Precipitation anomaly is still a little bit wetter than average from the far north of Scotland. Otherwise, most places are going drier than average. This is a more settled period coming up. It's 2 weekly, so it might be a bit transitional. There could still be some unsettled weather in there, but overall it looks like early March we'll see the weather drying out a little bit and no doubt becoming quite spring-like. This is CFS V2, so this is how the CFS is comparing to the JMA. This is the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly from the CFS V2. This takes from the 14th to the 20th of February. The coming week again has the above average heights sitting to our south, the below average heights over and to the west of the country. Strong jet stream coming across the Atlantic. Looks very unsettled, very Atlantic driven, and no doubt quite stormy at times as well. Change for week 2, this 21st, 27th of March, the above average heights then start to push northward, so this is settling down, especially for England and Wales. The low pressure, the below average heights being pushed up towards the north, to the northwest, up towards Greenland and Iceland. So this is settling down, probably very mild with winds coming in from a west to southwesterly direction. Week 3 is the 28th of February to the 5th of March. This one has high pressure just to the east and south of the country. Lots of high pressure over the continent, low pressure out to the northwest. Jet stream again is very southwesterly, as is wind direction. So again, a lot of dry weather associated with that, and no doubt very mild and spring-like. And it goes on into week 4 as well. This will sit to the 12th of March. Certainly no sort of late cold snaps here. This is all very spring-like, with above average heights sitting just to our east and south, below average heights out to the northwest. There's the southwesterlies, and overall that's a very mild opening to March. Temperature anomalies in weekend are looking like this. Is with the 14th to the 20th of February, significantly milder than average week coming up. Week 2, temperature anomalies from the 23rd, 27th of February, also significantly milder than average. Week 3, temperature anomalies are very mild once again, from the 28th of February to the 5th of March. And then week 4, temperature anomalies rounds it all off, going from the 6th to the 12th of March, significantly milder than average again. Many parts of Canada and North America being plunged into really cold weather through the first couple of weeks of March. But for us, on our side of the Atlantic, CFS is forecasting things to stay very mild. And then finally, precipitation anomalies for CFS V2. So week 1, precipitation anomaly from the 14th to the 20th of February. That one is significantly wetter, but average will be a very unsettled week coming up. Week 2, precipitation anomaly from the 21st of February to the 27th, last week of the month, shows a little bit dry down in the south, still quite unsettled though up in the north. Week 3, it's a weakening signal now, as it always is with weeks 3 and 4, 28th of February to 5th of March, close to average. I suspect this will be going reasonably dry, maybe hinting at being a bit more unsettled again in week 4, 6th to the 12th of March, bit wetter across northern parts of the country. Essentially, there's no change with JMA Friday today. So the pattern that we've had right way from the start of the winter is going to be the pattern that we end this meteorological winter with, and in between we see no deviations either really, and that's the reason we haven't had a winter. It's going to be remembered, I think, as the winter without a winter, or the year without a winter. So we're going to carry on as we have been. High pressure always to the south, low pressure always to the north. We keep the westerlies and the jet stream coming in off the Atlantic. Further bouts of rain can be expected, especially early on. The trend through in towards March, I think, is increasingly towards high pressure building from the south and the southeast, so that should bring us some drier weather through sort of end of February, early March type period, and within that there may be some very pleasant weather indeed. So we could see temperatures in the early spring sunshine going into the teens Celsius by day. Maybe cold at night, maybe some frost at night, but I think overall JMA Friday today is pointing towards spring-like weather for the start of March. Right, we should be back later on with your Week 10 video update, and Matt will have all of the latest in terms of what's going on with Storm Dennis as well. Storm Dennis is going to be with us tomorrow, so bring an update with all of weather warnings and whatnot at UK Met. But for JMA Friday, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.